Yes, I'm back at the Fox again. It's Mark and Chums, and it's number 25. It's almost like my silver jubilee, this one, because I'm with somebody who I've got great admiration for, and who can literally, at the drop of a hat, burst into song beautifully. I remember one occasion when Amanda and I, as agents, were at the old Ship Inn, in the Paganini room. Well, all the people on stage were from our agency. I couldn't believe it. Particularly this one, and his late wife, of course, who I had great affection for. Today we've got the wonderful, very talented Mark Lanahan.
Good afternoon.
Right, so here we are. So Mark Lanahan, I'm so glad to be able to come and join you today.
Pleasure.
At the Fox and all that, and it's been a long time. I've known you 25 odd years, something like
Yes.
that, isn't it? It must be.
Yeah.
Knocking on.
Yeah, I was in shorts when you first met me.
Absolutely, and I was in a dress. And the problem that I have with you is once you and I get together, it's not a problem, it's a lovely thing. We just won't stop.
No.
Everything's an innuendo, isn't it? Told you so. So you came down from London
Yes.
initially, before I met you before you and Claire, your late wife, moved down here. And you were a friend of Peter Mantle, if I remember right.
Oh, bless, yes, old Peter.
So it's all coming out now.
Yes, we, Claire and I were doing, we had good friends in Soho, and we used to frequent quite often. Yeah, the Jerry's Club, and like Steve Tompkinson and Gary Whelan and people like that, and they all suddenly they weren't there, and we were, where have they gone? They've all moved to Brighton because it was cheaper and it was only 50 minutes away, and I just got working at the old time musical, the Players Theatre.
Players Theatre, yeah.
And
fabulous.
I worked out it was. I went down to stop with some friends. This is where I'm going to go. We need David Ramel. He remembers everybody. Kenny Clayton, the musician Kenny Clayton.
Yeah, of course, Petula Clark's.
Yeah, and Andy Fairweather, not Andy Fairweather, Andy Williams and Matt Monroe, of course. But I used to sing with him, with Kenny, down in Jerry's, and I stayed with them. And it was 50 minutes from the door of my flat to the stage door at Charing Cross. I couldn't believe it. I was walking.
There you are, yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Oh, so we
it was cheaper in those days, but it's not now, is it?
No.
It's moved to Telscombe Clips, which is even more expensive.
There's sheep, no students. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you see, Kenny Clayton, thank God you brought him up, because I used to book him a lot when I was your agent with Claire and all that, side was Amanda. Kenny used to come and do the Christmas shows for us. And,
Did he?
Can you believe he'll be sitting there doing the old Joanna and all that? We get, all you lot would get and do a turn.
Yeah.
And he was sitting there. And he said, how much job do you think you have Petula Clark's lot and all that? Oh, Christ almighty, Dusty Springfield and all the other lot.
Ethel Merman as well.
Yeah, the whole lot. I mean, you name it. He's appeared on television, Morecambe and Wise, the whole lot.
Really Savage.
Yeah, absolutely. And he would sit there like, he said, what am I doing? I'll just bring the family down for the dinner. We're all sitting there. So what you think, you're paying Kenny Clayton, his wife, the 3 kids.
Yeah.
And all that. It ended up, I said, I'd rather have paid you just to play the piano.
I know.
But he was great fun. And of course, that is why I think we all got together as a group of people. Not me just being an agent and all that. It just, I could see in my mind's eye the talent that surrounded me with Amanda at side. I think, my God, look all we've got. It's extraordinary. And they we were like a magnet and you were my iron filings.
Yeah.
And
got a bit rusty then. Anyway.
Yeah, we're very much a bit rusty now, I can tell you that. And we just gelled all of us. I mean, I know at the time, you moving down and all that, you had, everyone, I was well off at the time, but a lot of the people I looked after had really major income problems.
Well,
because then it was, these days, he'll do it for a shilling. Singing that. But back in those days,
he's not wrong.
I am occasionally. The fact is that knew we had gold dust, but of course, because I was the hedonistic type I was, if somebody came like you or whoever, lots of people would come to me, oh Mark, he'll sort us out. Always try to look after you, because what you do, you get the best out of people if you help them. And you know, I never had to have a problem with getting anyone, you know, getting people a job, because I treated you all like, being an actor myself, I thought, well, treat as you be treated.
Yeah, that's what we knew about you, that you would, you'd instead of just saying, oh, go and do that, you'd actually go, they're going to go and do that, but also, have they got the travel, have they got some food coming,
oh,
you know,
right,
all that sort of stuff. And we used to say the whole thing about, it was a good audition because they'd actually provided water, you know, for you, because you've got to go and sing or do something, and there'd be no water, and the good ones provided and looked after you, you know, that was the main.
Well, I always, you know, I remember, because I used to do a lot of casting for the BBC, doing Crime Watch and stuff. I think you were in a Crime Watch, weren't you? And whatever, Betsy, by the way.
They've never called him.
Yeah, still there. Can't get rid of her. You know, like, I remember Mike Darnell, you know, who was my office manager. God rest his soul. Lovely man. I mean, he got on with everyone as well. I mean, it was that sort of team.
Yeah.
He would go and do like a Crime Watch. I never actually got myself a part in anything. It all went to the bloody clients. And I'm sitting there hot on the phone.
Well, you were suffering from lack of talent, weren't you, most of the time?
Like to call yourself a celebrity, this one. Celebrating what, lack of talent? Yes, it is. We put that line in every show. Don't be Stephen. Thank you. That's Stephen everything.
Leave Stephen out of it.
But he went, like, he would go along. Like if I sent you to an audition for a club or anything, something like the BBC, and they were giving you a walk-on thing, right? And then he saw transmission. I remember going round to Mike, so we were watching it, and he was in a Crime Watch and all that, and I said, I thought you were a walk-on, and of course he's chatting and all that, because the director said, he then got, I said, right, phone talent to BBC the next day, and he got a full week's fee talking. I said, you don't treat my clients like that. You don't get some blood director in and saying, oh, yeah, oh, do you mind just doing this little bit with hush hush and all that? Thinking that, as you know, a lot of actors today will do it for a shilling. They really will do it for bugger all. Pardon my French, sorry.
Yeah. It is a, we've actually surpassed all that, because it went from, well, you know, professional, you know, and good agents such as yourselves, and then you got on to the, I mean, as we all know, we used to have to do the 10 by 8s and print it off, and the big envelopes, and it cost money. Then it all went onto the internet, and we could email it. It was blew my mind. CDs, all this sort of stuff. And then it went into, I mean, I did a Febreze, one of the earliest Febreze anti-back. I was Febreze anti-back dad. $5,000 for 2 days work.
Coming off now. Yeah.
5 anti-bacterial. $5,000 for 2 days work.
Back, darling, not on the
then after that, agents and people sort of almost then went, oh, superfluous. You don't need them because we can do it ourselves, and these different agencies. And when that happened, and as you probably are more than aware than I, all the the niceties and the cordiality of actually doing an audition went out.
Oh yeah.
It's can you turn up? Do that.
Yeah, but do a self-tape. You know, that's fine.
They don't know what push and pull is. They don't.
I don't do auditions anymore.
No, neither do I.
You know, I don't do auditions at all. I don't even do self-tapes. So if somebody wants me and they say, "Oh, Mark, do you mind do that?" Stephen's very kind. He always gives me the odd, you know, bit in this and that, and that's fine because it keeps the old grey matter going. What annoys me these days is anyone can be a celebrity or want to be. You know, the old 15-minute Warhol.
Well, let me tell you something. This is hot off the press, folks.
You're doing that straight to camera.
Yeah. That's natural. Before Christmas, I was contacted direct by Scarlet. No, not Scarlet Entertainment. Britain's Got Talent.
Oh yeah.
They rang me. They've rung me since the beginnings of The Voice. They've rung me every year, and I've gone up and I've spent 50 quid on the train. Blah blah blah. Wembley. Got through each time. Never got onto the telly. So that's all fair enough. So I've stopped doing them. I said, no. It costs too much money.
Because it's all a con. The whole is a con.
They rang me, and it was a very nice. I had a good old long chat with the head of casting for it, and he said, with, as you know, Father Christmas. Could he, we want to do a special for this coming season where he arrives, and could you think of something? So I went, oh, okay, I thought of something. I could turn up, and anyway, they said they love the idea, we're going to do that. I got a production team. I said, I'm not coming up to London because it costs too much money. Are you going to pay for expenses? He said, well, no, they won't, but we can do it all online. I went, right, okay. Long and short of it is that the head honchos, i.e. Simon Cowell, said, no, we don't want to be doing Father Christmas in spring. So could you do something else? So I wrote another idea, another script of being a singing Toastmaster, coming out, maybe announcing in the lovely red and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Or while I'm here, doing as you may see some on the VT when I go on a microphone, and on a bit of a slinky like with like Bruno Tonioli or something like that. Yeah. I gave him the whole scenario. 2 days before going up to London to film it, nah, we've gone another way. And with actors, I was then thinking, if this works, that means the corporate work will come in. I can do this. Oh, I can pay for that. We might be able to go on holiday, you know. And just 2 days before.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you drank too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, and to sing la bella, hearts will play like a gay tarantella. When the stars make like jewels, just like pasta fazool, that's amore. When you walk down the street with the clouds at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a tree and you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusami, ma ci si fa in old Napoli, that's amore. Okay, your turn, come on! Amore. Go for it! When the world seems to shine like you drank too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you sing Vita Bella. Hearts will play, ting-a-ting-a-ting, ting-a-ting, like a gay tarantella. When you walk in a dream and you know you're not dreaming, signore, scusami, ma ci si fa in old Napoli, that's amore.
All the other ones thought as soon as they went on that show, oh, the world's their oyster. And I said to the particular incumbent at that time, I said, well, what are they thinking of? They've got no idea. You're literally there for that moment, and that's it.
All you can get from it is to say, I have been as seen on Britain's Got Talent, and in Brighton you might get an extra 50 quid an hour. That's about it. You might have people turn up because they might know you or have seen you, or even if
Well, I know a lot of people turn up for you at the opening of an envelope, don't they? On that note, we'll be back in a moment. One, now I've just been having a barge at this. Right, now I've got to put the specs on. These are Betty's specs, by the way, because I nicked them off him, because I broke mine, I sat on them. Don't go there, Mark. And look at this. This is. I remember when I did Mark and Chums with Carol Todd, hers were pages, it was like the Paris Telephone Directory. You never see anything like it. It went on and on and on and all that.
Which is a long career, love.
Well, yeah, long career and short legs. So this is all of Mark's stuff.
Well, this is sort of nosegay.
Yeah. I love it when it says, hair grey, casting age 50 plus.
I haven't used that CV for a very, very long time. It was as a memory, really, just to know some of the things I've done.
Yeah, because you got on set Alzheimer's, that's why she can't remember what her age is. Yeah, blue grey eyes.
I can't remember if you're a friend.
According to them.
You've turned yourself on again.
I haven't turned it on at all. Stop listening. Yeah,
Go on.
And honestly, it is quite, there's theatre, film credits.
Yes.
TV commercial. We've all done a few of those, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Look, opera singer, Wink Bingo.
Yes.
Do tell. What sort of bingo is that then?
Wink Bingo. Yes. I think it's. Oh, good God, that's years ago. I think you sent me for that.
I would be surprised.
They wanted someone to stand in with a pair of horns on the stage, pretending to be an opera singer, a Valkyrie type. We never got to sing. This went.
That's typical of those sort of things. I mean, I actually played a cartoon dragon once in a Listerine commercial. Well, that's another story. Oh, I love it. Look, Febreze Antibac.
Yes.
Come back to that. Yeah.
Yes.
And what really comes to, I love it. It says Volks Railway followed by Devil's Dyke.
Yeah. I did all the voiceovers.
Well, guess who? I obviously got you all of those because it's just one of those things, isn't it? You obviously were on repeat. Shoreham Aerodrome. And of course, one thing you are well known for is singing.
Yes.
How did that start in your career? Because you've got, to me, one of the most wonderful voices.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's right, we can pay you later. It really is special.
Oh.
And you're now more making a living out of doing that rather than the acting side of it, because you're well known for it. So how did you really get into being a singer?
Basically, my ethos is or ethics is work, to work. But I moved to London when I was 18, 19 with my parents. Did a council swap to Ladbroke Grove when it was not popular, and from Aylesbury started working at a hotel.
Which wasn't popular either.
Yeah, just near the prison. And I started working at a hotel, and I ended up being the manager of this little private B&B behind Kensington Palace, all very plush. And my parents were working at the Royal Albert Hall in the evening, so I was doing two jobs as usual because great Maggie Thatcher gave us the right to buy our council house. So I was working non-stop, 2 jobs a day type of thing. Getting up at 4 in the morning, doing the breakfast, going to bed from 2 o'clock in there, and then doing an evening with Eric Clapton, and then doing security sometimes during the night. But on one of these occasions, I was at door 6 at the Albert, and I was enjoying the acoustic, doing a bit. I'll take you home again, Kathleen, and I do this, all this business. And this little old lady walked past and said, "Lovely voice, young man." I said, "Oh, thank you very much." And there's a couple of others like her. Opened the door and let them out. Turns out that was Lou Grade's wife, Lady Grade. And so I was toying with the idea of trying to maybe earn a living with doing something I liked and enjoyed. And my mum knew her because she had a box on the Grand Tier, and my mum was working there as a steward. and she asked her advice. Long and short of it, she sent me to a singing teacher, and he, who was in South Kensington, I didn't know who he was, but I noticed when I was singing and having a lesson with him that on the back of the wall was my biggest hero singer was John McCormack, the Irish tenor, and there was his Papal Count's medal on the wall. God, this guy's who the hell? How does he get this?
You thought he was a fan.
Exactly, but and I went, well, I don't know what to do. I was going to give everything up. I tried to join the army. I tried to join the Met Police. I tried to join the Royal Horse Guards, Life Guards, Irish Guards. I got accepted to the Irish Guards because I just wanted to earn money to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage. Sorry. And I was really down in my dumps, and the phone rang, and it was Lady Grade. And she said, I've just spoken to the singing teacher, and he thinks you've got a lot of potential, and I'm sending you a cheque for £400 to pay for lessons with him. And the singing teacher was Ian Adam, who had just taught Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman to do Phantom of the Opera, and anybody else who was anybody. And so she paid for my singing lessons, and that was it basically. He was an amazing singing teacher. He's dead now, God rest his soul. But he had a great technique of how to bring out a natural sound, but still keeping the technique.
What you've got, that's how I perceive it. It's so natural. It's not. You don't force it.
No, there's
a lot of people do force what they're doing when it comes to singing.
Yeah.
You have, if I may say so, light touch. Lou Gray,
both look at the camera.
Lou. Hope you can edit that together, Steve. Lou Grade, of course, I met because I was looking after at the time Bucks Fizz. There's another way of saying it, but because this might be on television, I'm not allowed to say it, but just swap the two letters around.
Yeah.
What I mean. And Lou Grade was actually, we were doing This Morning with Richard and Judy when it moved down to London.
Yeah.
My chum Katie Boyle was there as well, because it was coming up for Eurovision. That's why they had Bucks Fizz, and Lou Grade was there too. And he was a charming man. So small.
Lovely, yeah.
So small. I thought, my God almighty, honestly, wouldn't be able to place him as he was. He was a munchkin, but quite a rotund chap, cigar. He would not be without that cigar.
Yeah.
Lovely. But he was delightful. That's really pleasing to know that Lady Grade actually was so able to understand.
Well, she could hear, but she also gave some great advice. She was a great friend to me, and then she like little things I still remember today about, if I'm ever doing a show or doing some songs, whatever you come out to, she was just say, give them time to look at the frock and give them time to make sure that they like you, decide whether they like you. Don't go straight in at them.
Yeah.
I always remember that.
Good advice.
You don't like me, I know. And then obviously...
You got it in a sale.
And if you, I mean, we're doing a little beer now, but we're chums, we're having a chat. But if you go to a lot of events where you've got to have drinks and dinners and things like that, a tonic with ice and a slice in it looks like gin and tonic or vodka and tonic, and everybody thinks you're one of them, but you can actually get through the whole evening
without falling over.
And it was just little bits of that just stuck with me. And then I then decided to give everything, my work up, cut the credit cards up. I had 2 cars. It was ridiculous. I was earning a good wage. I could have been a quite well-to-do hotel manager by now, but now I'm poor but happy. And I went to Drama Studio London because I thought I'll learn how to do a bit of acting, and came away with a distinction. Hey, thank you. And then I went straight into music hall. I got the first job that I thought I'd be getting at the end of my career, which was the Irish tenor in a musical, Guild and Gaslight musical.
Because down here, Drama Studio London with distinction.
Yes, with distinction.
What distinction means, I've got no idea.
Well, there was a very small drama school, but it was a very well. It was I called it the SAS.
There was only one other person in it. Who got merit.
It was the SAS of Drama Studio because it was so intense. It was a 9-month course.
Yeah, but the fact is, you down on your CV, of course, your late wife, a wonderful, very talented Claire Rimmer, who I also was her agent as well for some time, until she passed away, God rest her soul, was a fabulous singer. My God, she could belt it out.
Yeah. Oh God, you remind me. Yeah, her Samson and Delilah. Seeking him to my prayers and Samson.
I remember that photograph where she looks like she's on the front of a ship, looking like that.
Yeah.
She looked a bit like Joan Crawford in Straight Jacket, or absolutely like that. Fabulous song, and my God, she had a chest.
She was annoying. Yeah.
She was
No, she was annoying because there was no lie about her. There was no falseness.
She was straight with it, wasn't she?
Yeah, if I remember saying at her funeral and I did the eulogy, it was like, you know, if you were there with a large nose or a big hump on your back, you know, she'd say, I can get you something for that, or she'll
come out with something.
She will talk about it. She wouldn't ignore or make the person feel that they had to hide something to hide. She was just so natural with people. It was.
Oh, she was a wonderful.
Everybody.
I remember going round because when you had that basement flat in Brighton, going opposite the church, they used to go and clean the church.
Yes, she was a vicar's daughter.
I remember going to your wedding, and we had your wedding reception was with Sidonie Bond.
Oh, is she still with us?
Oh, she moved away, but that was at Brunswick Terrace.
Yes.
A huge place. I mean, God knows how much she sold that for. It was massive. But we had that there, but I remember having, we did I think, city site cleaning, as I call it. There's another word for it. And we used that church opposite where you used to. Do you remember? You were there. It was a year before.
I had the keys.
15 years ago. And we went in, and we got all
St Andrews.
Yeah, we used to go in there and do for them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we kept it open. I used to open it up every weekend. We used to go in to keep it alive because it was the same person who designed Westminster Abbey.
Yeah.
One of his fronts, very Italianate fronts.
Yeah. Fabulous though. I remember we did the open top tours I used to do. And we went in there and we had the mayor there and you lot and all that, and all the ladies came in with their cakes. It was like a cricket tea, if I remember rightly.
God.
And humongous bottles of wine. Thank God I wasn't driving the bus that day, but then that was another story. But that was the way it was. But I remember in that flat you had below, just opposite, down there, we used to go, all of us together, me, Claire, you, and occasionally Mike Darner and all that. And my God, did we put the world to rights?
Yeah.
And we never ever stopped laughing.
It was good fun.
It was great fun. But to me, Mark, it's like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
To me, but actually looking at it now we're in each other's company, I think, it's not all that long.
No. Oh, wait, because so much has happened, obviously, with her passing. I remember you saying that she had a lung condition. She got the thing called farmer's lung, and I became basically almost like a carer because she was indomitable. In other words, very annoying. But she would.
I could see that.
She sadly, what happened? We got a chance to go to Lanzarote, but this is how indomitable she was. She broke her hip in Lanzarote. Refused to go to hospital, but we didn't know it was broken at the time. Got on the plane. We got her onto the plane. Couldn't get her off the plane because of the pain, but we managed to eventually. She wouldn't go in on the ambulance. We got a taxi from Gatwick to the A&E, and they had to then sedate her to get her out of the taxi. And from then on, when she had her hip replacement, because her lungs weren't strong enough, she never came round after a month in ICU, and that's what we had to turn the machines off. But it was an awful time.
How long ago was that now?
That was 2008 that happened. But I remember her last words to me were, I can't, not allowed to swear. But when she did come with the last thing, she said, what the is next? That was her last words.
It's like Spine Milligan, I told you I was here.
I told you I was. Yeah.
But I remember your wedding and all that. I was playing with Joanna. You had a great big grand piano, do you remember?
Yes.
And all that. And I remember you got, I got married to my husband. Luckily I got married actually in the mayor's parlour, thank you.
Yeah.
And he got married with Claire in the registry office. But Claire's father was a bishop or something like that.
No, it was vicar. He was vicar of Old Marston.
He looked very high Anglican to me.
Oh yeah,
and he got up and did a speech. It was hilarious. He said, unfortunately, because it was a registry office, I can't speak anything to do with religion or God or all that. And I thought, oh, here we go. I thought, we're going to have a sermon. Well, it's the filthiest speech I've ever heard in my life. Absolutely disgusting.
It was not.
It was awfully funny because he was taking the you-know-what out of the whole regiment.
Can't mention God.
In all that. But he was great fun, yeah. I have great fond memories of Claire Rimmer and, of course, yourself. We'll be back in a moment.
Not saying.
I was just saying in the break,
no money.
I was just saying in the break how that last segment there actually does start. Both of us were starting to well up.
Yes, yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? When you say things you've forgotten. You know, it's like when Mike Darnell died. He's not there to revitalise certain memories that you have. It's like literally having a videotape wiped, and you can't get it back until you're with somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and it suddenly comes back to
you. Do get caught up in your own, the current nowness of life.
Yeah.
And I've got a lot, obviously, we all have lots going on and things like that. But like you say, if you don't take the time out to come and see you and go, oh God, yeah, you know, those fun times. You know?
I mean, I was often, in tell you what, when I did Brighton Rocks all those years ago, I was actually only recognised in the post office queue or buying a loaf. Aren't you?
Yeah.
I went, no, I'm not. You know, I stand away from that sort of thing. I think the celebrity can't be doing that.
Oh, well, nowadays, well, no, not nowadays, but a few years ago, I used to get all the time. Don't you look like Bernard Cribbins?
You do that, don't you?
Yeah, and of course, the thing is, I was good mates with Bernard.
Well, of course, you know,
Claire was great mates.
Very, very. I mean, of course, he passed through. The last thing he did was Doctor Who.
Yes, and I went to his funeral. I was invited to his funeral, and we also went to the wake at the Actors Church. And I got to sit next to Uncle Bulgaria. He turned up with Mike Batt. It was quite hilarious. But Elaine was there, Miss Page, who I had a lot of incidents with. Well, because Claire was Evita's mother when Elaine was Evita. And there's many a story. That'll be in part 6 of this. Too many stories.
Well, no, that's fine because we can go on and on and on, or as many as you like, because like a lot of these things, as we've just said, is
I hadn't met her, and when I met her with Bonnie Langford, and I'll just pick those up, and David Tennant, and Catherine Tate, Anyway, they did a eulogy and all that sort of stuff, but it was. That was a moment where I went back almost in time to go, flipping heck. The fact that all that life had stopped because of the nowness of now and then COVID and all that sort of thing. But there's one story I did want to say about how Claire knew everybody, and then we can move on with stuff. But she used to go out with and live with not Peter O'Toole, Elephant Man fella.
John Hurt.
John Hurt, not Peter.
Who I've done a film with.
Yes. And
God rest his soul.
They wanted, she went to dinner with Dickie Attenborough and his wife and him because they wanted him to do a film for them, and they were desperate for him to do Gandhi. she went, what? Because Claire had been brought up in India, and she said, no. And they brought those celluloids where they basically had a thing of him and they slowly turned him turned him into Gandhi. He said, you just look like an Irishman with a nappy. And when he was devastated about this, apparently. And she said, you should talk to Ben Kingsley. I don't think Ben, if you're watching.
We should, yeah.
It was Claire.
Sir Ben, we got called him.
And so she used to tell this apocryphal story, and I was thinking, but one day in Jerry's, this saintly creature walked down the stairs. It's a basement club, very small place, not much bigger than this really. And
we went there, didn't we?
Yeah,
We had a few beverages.
He was in total white. He looked like an angel walking down. And I said, I've had enough of this. And Claire was quite sheepish about it. And I said, now listen, she tells me that she didn't, you missed out on Gandhi. He went, well, Claire, is she here? I went, yes. And he said, yes, she did, the bitch.
He was and of course, I mean, it's like full circle, because of course he ended up being the war doctor in Doctor Who.
Yes.
And of course he was one of I met him, now I don't want to name drop, they can talk to all these people, but I happen to have some friends that work for the Royal Household. So I went to the Royal Household, it's putting it back on there, and I went to this particular film at the Royal Household Film Society, which was shown in the Queen's and at Buckingham Palace.
Oh,
very nice too. I mean, we had to go through the back door and all that. You know. We saw the vents and all that sort of stuff.
Done that a few times.
Yes. But who was there? John Hurt. No, famous for I Claudius, naked civil servant, and all that. And I thought to myself, this film was called Champion, where he played Bob Champion.
Yeah.
The rider, the jockey with cancer. And we're all sitting there watching this dreadful film. And of course all sheriffs and all that. And my friend Marcus, who worked, he was the Insignia Clerk to the Royal Chancellor of Knighthood, something like that, some great big highfalutin name, or Registrar to the Lord Chamberlain. And he said, well, go and talk to him. And I thought, what the hell? Although I was already enamoured, that was in Buckingham Palace, in the Queen's bloody cinema, watching Bob Champion on there with John Hurt, the man playing him there. And he said, no, go on. So I walked over and I looked at him and I couldn't think of anything to say, and I said,
hello.
Well, Mr. Hurt, you must be exhausted. And he went, yeah, dreadful film, isn't it? And we had a good chat about that. As many years later, because he was Chancellor of Norwich University or somewhere up there, I did a film for him up there, and with a lovely, charming, very witty.
He would do any movie because of his horses.
Yeah,
he would do anything.
I remember on television being interviewed at this news red carpet thing. He said, what are you going to be doing? Well, I'm doing a film. I look completely serious, what else am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
He's not opening a corner shop and selling sweets.
Yeah.
But that's the sort of professionalism
it's the work ethic,
it is doing the job, which you've done, and you carry on to do now.
Yes. Oh, I would say what turned around me for me then was that before my blessed mother died, I got my break, which was to do a number one tour for Johnny Ball. Doing
Zoe Ball was a mate of mine, by the way.
Yes, and they.
Did you do maths as well?
I can't count for life. I can act it, but no, I was.
I mean, he's talking about counts. That he can count.
No, I auditioned and I got the number one tour. It was a school's tour basically. It was 2,000 seaters. Replacing him,
big,
and
lucrative too, because you've got an audience.
Well, yeah, even
that's
if
the thing.
Because
you can put
forced to be
on.
there.
Yeah, it's like it's May at the moment. We've got the Fringe down here, and there'll be more people on stage than there is in the audience. Which you remember back in the day, we used to go to a lot of the Fringe stuff, didn't we?
Yes.
We'd go along to something and ask them,
Count
there's only three here. There's more on stage. Of course, the older adage in equity is, if there are more people on stage than is in the audience, don't go on.
But none of the people on stage were in equity, that's the problem.
That's the other problem. Yeah. I love equity because they actually pay public liability insurance for free for all equity members at £10 million.
£10 million. I've often asked for it.
Well, they're very good. I'll tell you what, if I'm a great believer in equity. It's easier now, this is interesting, to get into equity than it is to get into Spotlight. Spotlight, you've got to have proof. Spotlight. Well, luckily, no, but you can. I tell you what, because every 3 months, this is what happened to me when I became ill. I'm not that ill, but I look like it. They do what is known as a bursary. So every 3 months, it'll come up on the spot. When it comes in, I'll let you know. And they would choose 30 people, no matter what age you are, because I thought, well, I'm not going to get that too old. No, I've been on Spotlight for how long have I been in Spotlight? And for 2 years, because I couldn't afford, and certainly over the COVID thing,
it's a good job,
you know, and it's what, about £14 a month, something like that.
Oh, I've no idea, I'm not even bothered.
Yeah, well, you know what happens? I got in touch and I said, well, this is my current situation. The Active Benevolent Fund has been very good to me. Chums like Betty and all that, and all my lovely friends have been good to me and all that. And occasionally my husband. I'm not going to get them. I got it. Yeah, so you can, even if you've not been in it for a little while, you can apply to them and say, you know, I really want to get back into it and all that, and they will, you know, and you get a year free. Yeah, so that's an idea that, you know, I mean, they're very good, and I'm a great believer in being, I mean, certainly when I was your age all those years ago, that I wanted everyone, and you and Claire were in Spotlight and all that. I don't think at that time you could afford it. But we did, because we're chums. Amanda and I always thought there was one or two certain clients that we always liked to look after more, and always it was to do with the talent that was there. If you weren't good for something, you weren't one of those people who said, well, I should have had that. We wouldn't say that, wasn't it? Because you knew, with my expertise, whatever you want to call it, I'd know what was right for you or whatever. Where you had, I had 1 or 2 clients who thought, well, why didn't you get me that job? And you think, because you weren't right for it. And that, what people as actors, singers or entertainers seem to forget is, as a casting director, I have my name to consider. Because if I put somebody up for something and they're at it, and they're like, you know, it's like I haven't done my job.
I find a lot of, I mean, I did years later, a friend of mine, Michael Xavier, he just did Sunset Boulevard in the UK, and he went and did it on Broadway, and I was talking to him.
Was he the one that was just on the BAFTAs?
He might have been, I don't know. I haven't watched it. Michael Xavier, I don't know what he's doing at the minute, but he's doing something lovely. But he had just done Showboat with a lady who was also an agent, and he put me in touch with her, and so we went and met in London and all this. It was all lovely. And I said, listen, they're talking about tone deaf and not listening to or looking after the client. I said, I'd love to do this, I'd like to get back into it, thank you very much, it'd be lovely, but I've got to have a septumplasty operation on my nose, this bit, because I needed to clear the sinuses.
Yeah, and I've got broken nose too. You know?
So I needed that. So I said I won't be able to sing because the operation's happening in 2 months' time. Didn't listen a bit. Sent me off to an audition. I went. He said, "Oh, be good. It's Arlene Phillips for Jackie the Musical." And I went, "Well, all right, I'll go." And of course, I got offered the understudy for the lead. And I said, "But I can't take it." She said, "Why?" "I'm having an operation next week. I won't be able to sing for 2-3 weeks." Did you not? So she went, "Oh, can't have people like you. You've got the wrong idea about the business." I went, "Well, bye-bye. You know, if you don't, it's a conversation, and we can have a conversation when you were working as that. And you can say, I can't do it because this, you know, my leg's fallen off. I can't tap dance anymore."
That's what I always say, because it's then, as an agent, I would never put anyone up for something. I think they've got no. I'd look at Amanda and I'd go, "There's no way," because we would literally, you know how hard we worked at Cyber and all that. And I go, "No, it's not right for that." No.
I remember going sent up. I don't think it was you that sent me up for it. It was years ago, and it was, you know, the old Lindt chocolate. And there's the handsome chef doing the business, and there's me. And they had, to how cheap they were, you had to mime the bowl and mime the spoon.
Was it out of shot then, Mark?
Chocolate bunny? No. Oh, and what I was going to say was that I got working for, I thought I'd made it, and I basically said to my mother on her deathbed, "I'm all right, Mum, don't worry, I'm off, I've made it now, #1 tour, Johnny Ball, he loves me. We're not rehearsing in any rehearsal studios, we're using his living room, but I'm sure it'll be fine." Anyway, God rest her soul, she passed away a few months later, and this is where the beginning fell, of the fall started in a way. Yeah, it's because I found out she wasn't long to live, and I was on a Saturday, and I was in Lincoln or something, and I drove across the Snake Pass. If you ever go to the Snake Pass, it's terrifying. But it was late at night. I got home to where she was. She was in hospital, and we got there 6 o'clock in the morning, and she passed with us all around the bed. Wonderful.
So did my mother.
Yeah. So then
I actually shouted in my mother's ear. I said, "Mum, it's time to go." And within 2 minutes, she died.
Oh.
But I mean, she wasn't confident. They always say the hearing is the last thing.
Oh, yeah. It was a wonderful experience. It was very precious to do. But the day of that happened, I immediately rang. The funeral happened to like 6-7 days. Irish family, so it's very quick. Did the funeral. I sang Ave Maria. I don't know how I did it, but I got through it. And I rang my agent straight after. Said, "Right, tell him I'm off. I'm driving to Glasgow now to do the next show." And he said, "Don't bother, Mark. He sacked you for going to your mother's funeral." And I went. That shock was beyond belief, and that's how professional. What annoys me is in that dubious thing. I think it was Charles Gray said in that dubious premise of always, that the show must go on. And when Kenneth Williams' father died, or was he poisoned? He would go on and do all the show, with his mother there and all. The show must go on. I don't believe in that. If something like that, if I'm quite stoic about death and illness and stuff like that because I was a nurse for a long time. So and all that. Bring out your dead. Most of the time, treading the boards wouldn't. They'll think, "But I'm not dead."
Hello. The fact is that you get on with it and all that, but I do believe that sort of behaviour from somebody employing it when you have lost your nearest and dearest.
I missed one show. That's the thing, and I was, and he had done the show for 5 years. I was his replacement. It was full on driven by me, but that was hurtful. But the thing is, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have moved back to London. I would then went and took the first job that came up, and I would not have met Claire because she walked through the door at this church, a Methodist church. We were doing Get Up Out of Your Seats, a national tour with all the Baptists and Methodist churches.
Which was one of those?
Yeah, well, she walked in, I went, "She's trouble." And I wasn't wrong, basically. And
I totally concur.
Yeah, she just got divorced.
But she was good trouble. That's the difference.
Oh.
She was trouble with a wit.
I was young and innocent before.
Yes, and it's only a wig. It's only a wig. Hello. Yeah.
Well, then in 2000, I met some Australian guys who just came over with the Three Waiters International Singing Act, and I started with them, and I've now been. Where I've been? I've been to Whistler in Canada, New York, Texas. This is obviously since 2000, from years ago, before 2008 and the big crash as well. Seychelles, Dubai, Africa, and they've just called me, actually funny enough, yesterday, to go to Sydney to get on a cruise ship with Ruthie Henshaw and do a week in the South Pacific. Doing the same act.
Gorgeous, darling. I know. Sydney.
I know.
Gorgeous.
All expenses paid.
I think we better have a bit of a song coming up. Come on then, give us a bit of go a cappella for me.
Acapulco?
As well.
Any money? No.
We'll get you another beer. That's all he's getting is a beer.
Typical tenor. What's Betty's favourite? Do you like a bit of Donna or a bit of Nessun or what?
Yeah, that's good.
She likes anything, don't you, do?
I love that. I love anything.
I tell you, she's not stopped talking about the semi-finals for Eurovision.
Oh, don't start me on that.
This is another programme coming up.
Yeah, it is.
So, give us a little... Come on.
Laden immobile quando malavento muta l'accento e pensier la la
la la
e pensier Thank you very much. No, please don't clap.
Can you imagine what it's like when you get tucked out of the pub? He tucked out of the pub, that's why they took him out, because he's too loud. You know what, Mark? People could hear that in Worthing.
I know. Yeah. With the hearing aids turned off.
Yeah, I know that's what you get, but I tell you, it's been a belter. Mark, as always, my darling friend, I'm so glad you were able to do this.
Pleasure. Yes.
And on that, would you like to say goodbye to your audience?
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, Betty. Here we are then. So here we are at the box. To thank Mark Lanahan, lovely Betty over there, and of course Steve, my director, for a wonderful number 25 in a series of God knows how many of Mark and Chums. We'll see you soon.